Today we're in the office of Stefanie Garbacik, who is a livestock agent for the County of Wayne here at the Cooperative Extension Service. Hello!
Hey, how are you?
I am doing great.
Good.
It's good to be back with you.
It is.
There's always a lot going on in your office now.
Yes.
As a livestock agent, what are you responsible for?
All of the livestock questions that may come up. So, horses, cattle, sheep, goats, chickens, pigs, all of that falls under me.
You know, once in a while, years ago, I used to see guineas.
Mm-hmm.
Does anybody have guineas here in Wayne County?
We've got a couple that have them, yes.
Really?
Yes.
What do they do with them?
I'm not 100% sure. I don't know what to do with guineas. Some people eat them, some people use them for eggs probably, and raise up more guineas to then sell.
Okay, I don't see them as much as I used to, but they're still out there, I guess.
Yes, there are still some.
How about that? So if anybody had a question about them, you could research and find the answer.
Yes, I could find the answer for them.
Okay, very good. Anybody have any unusual livestock? Ostrich. Used to be some ostriches here.
I don't know of any.
Okay.
There may be some
There
hidden
used
somewhere.
to be. I don't know. There used to be some out in the eastern part of the county.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and other unusual things as well. Do you know of any unusual?
I don't know of anybody who's got any like llamas or alpacas.
Yeah, llamas
or
or
anything.
alpacas.
Yeah, like you said, there may be one or two hiding somewhere, and they just haven't called me.
Or they just don't want to tell anybody they've got them.
And that could be it too.
That could be. Well, we'll stick with cows and horses and pigs and goats and things.
Right.
Goats, that's a good one. There's a lot of goats here.
There are. They're becoming a lot more popular. You know, they don't take up a lot of space. They eat a lot of different things. The hardest thing with a goat is keeping them in.
Keeping them in?
Keeping them in. That fencing and making sure that they can't get out.
They could eat the fence, couldn't they?
They'll find a way to get out if there's a way.
Yeah, they're kind of stubborn like that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. Let's talk about, what do we want to talk about today?
Probably the most relevant thing that we can discuss is hurricane preparation.
Boy, I'll tell you what, June 1st, hurricane season started, and it runs for several weeks, all the way into the end of November.
Right, so it's a long period of time where you want to make sure you're prepared.
So why is that important to livestock?
It's important because your livestock, in most cases, are out in a pasture. They're exposed to those elements, and if something were to happen to, say, those animals or that fencing, and they get out, and expose themselves to other people's animals, that can be a problem.
We've had several hurricanes because of where we are here in this part of the world. Several hurricanes, and the last major that I recall, of course, there may have been, and there have been others, but the last major hurricane, the 500-year hurricane flood, was Floyd back in '99. Right. When Floyd came through and the resulting flood, we had some serious problems particularly with swine. Yes,
we did. A lot of houses flooded, like you said. A lot of animals, perished in that flood. And, then we had to figure out, well, now what do we do?
Yes, and what do you do? Is there any way to protect the animals?
In that situation, you can't really. Our commercial turkey type things, our commercial chicken type houses, and our swine houses, you can't really pick those up and move them. You can't evacuate all those animals.
Yeah. And pigs don't swim well.
No, they don't. No. So the best preparation you can do is for, like, say, your cattle and your horses, your sheep and goats, is just making sure that they have enough room in their pasture that they could run away from something. Like, say, if there was some flying debris, somebody's roof came flying out. Yeah. If they're locked in a small little pasture or they're locked in the barn, they can't get away from that.
Yeah.
So a bigger open pasture is better for that situation.
And I guess most people who would have horses, cows, and livestock in general will have that sort of area available.
Right. Yeah, they should.
A larger pasture. So, and obviously you can't pick up the pig house and lift it up.
Right.
But in future preparation, what would be the possibility of building hog houses on a higher plateau, on a higher foundation? Is that possible?
It probably would be possible. It'd cost a lot more up front. They're already expensive to get going. Yeah. So it would cost a lot more up front, and maintenance-wise would be a lot more.
Wouldn't be feasible, though. Yeah, it wouldn't
not.
Make a lot of sense, would it? I'm just trying to think outside the box here.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course, you need a big box to keep pigs in, right?
Right.
Okay, so in preparation of storms coming in, if you know a hurricane is headed this way, you move the livestock to an area that where they can escape to a protected area.
Yeah, a protected area. So you still want them to have some shelter in there, a shed or something that they could run into if there was, the rain with all the hurricanes and stuff. So big open area is good, though, just so they can run away if they need to.
Yeah.
You want to make sure they're up to date on all their vaccines, because if they do either get injured, cut, a tetanus type vaccine would be good, or if they get out, your fence is broken and they get out and they're exposed to other animals. You want to make sure your animals are protected, because you don't know what your neighbor's cows are vaccinated for.
Let me throw you a curve here. Okay, what about if and not just in time of storm or hurricanes or anything like that, but what happens when livestock does get out? When a cow or a horse or a large animal gets, or even swine, get away from the farm and get out, let's say, into a highway and is struck. Where does that fall, responsibility-wise?
I would imagine it falls on the farmer or the producer, whoever's animal that is. I'd imagine it falls on. Yeah, just because they were out there. I don't know the specifics. I don't know the rules for sure.
Well, you're a researcher though, and you could find out easily. But I was just wondering about that. Who's responsible for removal of the carcass and that sort of thing?
That would be my guess. Is that it would fall on whoever's animal it is.
Okay. We're just wondering about that. So, so make sure that you're fencing for tornado and hurricanes.
Yeah, make sure you don't have loose boards. Make sure you don't have a bunch of broken spots. Yeah, definitely.
Okay, now that's of course livestock, larger livestock. How would you handle chickens differently, poultry, turkeys, and stuff? Would you do anything any differently?
Depends on how many you have. If you've got, say, a garage that you could throw those chickens in when a storm's coming and, lock them in your garage, then that's a way to protect them from that.
That's a great idea.
But if you don't have any space for them, you don't have a shed that you could then move them into, because they won't be there long. Hurricane's not going to last weeks and weeks at a time. So if you have somewhere you can lock them up, that's the best option. Okay,
and that reminds me of a story that was in the paper here recently about the lady who was attacked by somebody who hit her in the face with a chicken.
Oh.
So did you see that?
No.
You didn't see that. Okay.
I did not.
Lady was there was an altercation and a lady got smacked in the face with a chicken. Now we want to help and prevent that from happening again. No copycat crimes here, please.
Right.
So and they did not want you to know that it did not harm the chicken.
Oh, good.
We know that, yeah.
Good.
So how would you, we just don't want people to know about that, about how easy it would be to do that. And it is illegal to attack someone with a live chicken.
Oh, I believe
or
it.
a dead chicken.
Yeah, with any sort of chicken.
Yeah, or any sort of chicken for that matter. Okay, so we won't go there any further. So any final words about hurricanes and tornadoes and anything we need to do?
No, I think that's about it. If you have any questions, just call me or call your vet if you have any questions about the vaccines. And the same goes for your companion animals, so your cats and dogs. Make sure they're up to date on vaccines, too.
Now, vaccines is something that's necessary anyway. They have to have their vaccinations.
They do, but it may be, you got it last year. It may be a yearly vaccine, and you're like, oh, I'll just wait to do it. Yeah. Check your records. Make sure you're on time, because if those animals do get out.
That's good thinking there. If you can plan to have them done as or just before hurricane season starts each year.
Right. Then you should be good every time.
You should be good every time. That's exactly right. All right. Also, a quick primer on warnings and watches. A watch means that conditions are favorable for a hurricane or disastrous weather to attack or approach. That's a watch. Means it could happen.
Right.
And a warning means it's going to happen. So keep that in mind, in the back of your mind. If you know of a disaster warning, a hurricane warning, or tornado warning, take cover immediately. And a watch simply means that it could happen.
Right.
And it doesn't mean it will.
Right.
All right. Stefanie Garbacik, what's your phone number at the Cooperative Extension Service?
It's going to be 919-731-1525.
731-1525. Stefanie Garbacik is the Livestock Agent. And thank you.
Thank you.
All right.